Hi guys, I'm Leah Mitchell and I'm a wedding florist and educator based in Wollongong, New South Wales. And I wanted to talk to you about Tave and how Tave has completely changed my business. If you've done any education with me or follow my education page, you'll know that I talk about it a lot. I am not affiliated with Tave in any way, shape, or form. I just love the product and I wanted to talk to you about what it does for wedding florists and how it keeps my business that turns over 120 weddings a year organised and also helps me run my education business. So what is Tave? It is a CRM system, which is a client relationship management system. There's a few other products on the market that are suitable for the wedding industry, things like Dubsado, Studio Ninja. There's another one in America called Honeybook, which I don't think we can use in Australia. And I think there's also Curate. I have found Tave to be the best for me, my business, and that is simply because I did try Dubsado and it didn't quite work for me. There was a few things with the way I run my business that it didn't gel and it had quite a lot of workarounds. So I didn't continue with Dubsado, but I know a lot of florists use it and love it, and it's a very similar concept. I just found Tave worked with my brain and my business better. So Tave came about because prior to that, I was running this very busy wedding business and I had information everywhere. I had hard copy diaries, I had iPhone calendars, Google Docs, Google Sheets, Excel spreadsheets. There was information everywhere and it was overwhelming and confusing. And I decided just before Australia went into the first lockdown that we needed to make a change. So I investigated, like I said, I tried Dubsado, it didn't really work for me. And then I decided to try out Tave. So I actually engaged the help of a lady who called Annette, the CRM doctor, to help me set it up because it is complex to set up correctly. You could probably give it a go on your own, but I don't know if you'd get it running to its full capacity. So Annette is in Melbourne and her and I would spend about an hour and a half once a week on Zoom setting up my Tave system. Now, the good thing about this was that it showed me how it works. So now I'm so confident to do anything I need to do in Tave because I was there during the setup. And it also helped me guide Annette to make it work in the best way possible for my business. So Annette is in the wedding industry, she's a celebrant, but setting up a florist CRM is very different. Our quotes are very complex. There's a lot of different moving parts compared to a celebrant or a photographer. Tave originally was built for photographers, but it has adapted over time to be for everyone in the wedding industry or events industry. I know there's DJs, planners, lots of different industries use it now. Like I said, I highly recommend Annette to help you set it up if you want to go down this path. And I really recommend you do it before you are at 120 weddings like me, because transferring all the data and inputting it all was an epic effort. And I actually had to employ one of my staff to help me do it so we could get everything transferred over and get the new system working. Prior to Tave, I lived in a constant state of anxiety and overwhelm about my admin, and I would say Tave cut my admin by about 80%. So I wanted to run you through probably the 4 biggest things that Tave does, because I could talk for days about Tave, but it would be a very long video. So I'm just going to cover the things that I think help the most in my business and have been the biggest game changers for me. The 4 things I'm going to talk about that I think are most important with Tave and my business are lead captures, questionnaires, quoting, and automations. So lead captures, prior to Tave, I would have emails going to junk. I would have people DMing me on Instagram and Facebook, text messaging me, calling me. And I've completely stopped that now, and I don't miss any leads, because occasionally I would go through my junk box and find an email from a month ago that someone had inquired and I'd never seen or replied to. So I'm going to do some screen recordings of everything I talk about so you can see what I mean, and hopefully it helps you get a better understanding of how it all works. This is my website, and this is where I direct all my clients regardless of how they contact me. So once you're on my website, you'll see here date availability, and it takes people to this page. I do ask that they fill in this regardless of how they have inquired. So it just asks their details and then the date and the wedding location. This is a questionnaire that has been built in Tave that then creates a lead in the system. So I'll show you what that looks like, but I do not accept any inquiries unless they have come through this, because this gives me the information that I need, and it's creating a client portal, you might say, in Tave for me. I've created a mock client to show you what the process looks like without giving anyone's details away. This client has filled out the lead generation form on my website, and Tave has automatically created this portal type thing for the client. This happens with every single person that fills out that form. So you can see here it's got her name, and at the top it's got the date and the location. That's all being captured by the form. This red exclamation mark shows that a double booking warning. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be another booking. I put school holidays because I'm a working mum, so I pop stuff like that in my calendar. I will put in public holidays or prep days that might fall on public holidays, when my staff have requested time off, things like that. So I'm well aware when an inquiry comes through if there's anything conflicting on that day. So this is the overview. It's captured phone number, email, name, location. It's got some emails. You can put notes in and open financial items. I have been using this mock client to do some testing in my system. So it does have a few things that typically wouldn't be there on a first inquiry. If you go into schedule, you'll see that it even has when the sunrise and sunset and things are. And then there's a quotes and orders. Like I said, I've been playing around with some quoting options. There's financials. So as the client books and then makes payments, it all comes up through here in a ledger and how much is left to pay. Mail, I'll talk about mail more in automations, but I have this email here goes out automatically to the client to acknowledge that I've received their inquiry. And then these two go into my draft until I can check the date and if I'm available, and I'll send one of the two. It's got contracts, questionnaires, which I will talk about more so. Tasks, I don't use tasks a huge amount. It's probably something you could look into more. I think if you wanted to stay more accountable, you could use that, and that is all customizable, but I just don't really use it much. There's a notes section that you can make some notes on the client, and there's files. So you could upload inspiration sheets, things like that. Shot list, as I said, it was originally developed for photographers but has been modified over time for other event industries. So that's why that's there. But yeah, that's the client overview and the little portal that has been created. This will change as well. So once they fill out their quote form up here, it'll tell me what their budget is. If they've booked, it'll say how much they've spent and how much is left on their balance. This will all change as time goes on, and Tave will automatically update things to keep me aware of what's happening. I'm going to talk to you about questionnaires. Questionnaires are really powerful for gathering the information that you need in your business. This is all my questionnaires for my two businesses, and I'll show you through one to give you an idea of what they look like. So I'll click on the wedding flowers quote one. This one is sent to clients so that I can build an accurate quote for them. It asks them lots of details such as photographer, budget, guest numbers, and then it goes through the wedding party, goes through ceremony, and there's spots that people can upload photos. And I have all this information when it comes back through to me. The thing I find great about this is it prompts people's thoughts about what they want to get quotes on. And, it asks them, do you think you want any of these things? We can add them on, and they have a complete wish list that comes through to me to enable me to quote accurately. You'll notice here there's associated token. Tokens are a really great tool. That is what captures information that then goes into the client portal. So there's like the budget that they're working with. This will automatically update on the client's portal that I showed you previously, and you'll have lots of information there. I'll show you another one. This is our delivery schedule that goes out to clients about 6 weeks before. They fill it all out. I print this out on the day and I've got all the information printed out, ready to go. All of these questionnaires are sent out by automation, which I'll discuss later on. I'm going to show you now how to quote in Tave. It's a really quick process, and especially using questionnaires to help you get the information you need for quoting. So let's pretend the client has filled out this quote form, and this is the information I need to build an accurate quote. I hear a lot of wedding florists say quoting takes too long, and it shouldn't be a process that takes a long time because there's no guarantee of a booking. So it should be a quick, simple process. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to go into my quotes and orders tab. And like I said, disregard this because I've been playing around in my system. I'm going to click new quote. You can also use a template if you have clients that want pretty much the same things all the time, but I don't tend to use that. I tend to start from scratch. I'm just going to put the name of the quote in. I go into Canva with the inspiration images and make a collage on a template I have saved, and I pop that in the top so all their inspiration images are in there. That'll just load, and I add expiration, so there is an expiration on the quote, and I make sure there's tax added. So the collage should pop up any minute. Here we go. So it looks very pretty and you're both on the same page. Then all my products and services are pre-saved in the system, which was time consuming but very worthwhile. So I just go through and click everything that the client has requested. Everything has a really basic description that I then change if I need to. Some things I don't need to. What else will I add in? An arbor. Oops. Anyways, it gives you the idea. So I'll go in here and I'll write a really fluffy description about what's going to be in the bridal bouquet, color palette, and I'll adjust pricing. I can go down here and change quantities. And another great thing I love about Tave is I can suggest something, or I can also make something optional. So if I suggest it, it means they can take it off the quote if they don't want it. If it's optional, they can add or take on the quote. This is really great when wish lists don't meet budgets, and I'll show you how it looks on the client end. Now I'm going to go down the bottom and I've got my payment schedule, which is pre-saved, which is a wedding booking fee, 20% deposit followed by the balance a month before the wedding. This is their booking form I want them to fill out, and then this is their contract that they electronically sign. So I'll show you how it looks on the client end. We'll save that. And this is the great thing. It looks so professional and pretty, and it's very easy to navigate for a client. So we click on direct link and this shows us what it looks like. This is what the quote looks like on the client's end. So I have a beautiful cover email. I talk about their quote, and then there's a link that they click on and this pops up. They can view it on mobile or computer, and it's got their inspiration images that I created in Tave, and then it's also got the itemized descriptions. Everything is itemized. So this is what I was mentioning where I said suggested. So they might have not been sure about buttonholes, but they can take those off if they've decided they don't want them anymore. This is the optional floral pillars. See, they can add this on or they can take this off. So this is really great when you have clients that have really big wish lists that the budget doesn't quite meet. What I tend to do is I will put everything essential within the budget they have, and then the extra things, which might be a hanging installation or lots of candles, I will put them in the optional so they can decide if they want to spend the extra money. It doesn't become a to and fro. It's entirely up to them and gives them the power to adjust their quote. Then you go continue. It will let them know here what their payment schedule is going to be. So if I had to put in a 20% deposit with 100% balance due a month before, it would say it all here. Then it would go to a booking form. You'll see some stuff's already inputted, which that's what our tokens in the questionnaires did. So they already put that information in there for us. And then we would go to electronic contract, and following that it would go to pay retainer, and a different word than we tend to use, but booking fee deposit. And it would take them to a payment platform where they get my bank account details to do a transfer, or they can use their credit card and pay via credit card. So I hope that helps, and you can see how beautiful and quick it is to make quotes in Tave. The thing I probably love most about Tave is the automations. Automations feel really, really overwhelming when you start out using a CRM, but they are the thing that is going to save you so much time. So these are all my automations that are between both businesses. So, like I showed you previously, when I had my client send me a lead, it automatically generated 3 emails. One went out straight away to say that I will check your date and be back to you, acknowledging I got their contact. Then there is 2 emails that go into a draft box. So when I've checked the date to see if I'm available, I will send one of 2. One is, I'm sorry, I'm unavailable. Here's florist I recommend. The other one is, I'm available. Here's a quote questionnaire for you to fill out. And that links back to the questionnaires. But there is so many powerful things with automations that you can do. I send my clients flower care, I send them delivery questionnaires, I send them checklists, I send this one I love. It is a welcome one, and when someone books in and they have signed their contract and I have also signed the contract, it sends them a welcome pack to explain what's going to happen. Automations are a little complicated to set up, and this is not something I would attempt to do for the first time on my own. But once they are installed and they are working, they are amazing. I even have here an automation that when a client books in, if they book an arbor for the guy who does my arbors for me, he automatically gets emailed that he has an arbor booking on this date at this location. That's how powerful they are. I don't touch it at all. So our clients probably get about 6 automated emails from when they first inquire with us to the wedding date. I could potentially do more. I even send one that's just like here's some vendors we like working with. It's a really, really powerful system. It even sends invoice reminders. So it will say, you have an invoice due in 7 days. Here's the link if you'd like to pay it now. I never chase money. Most people see that and pay straight away. So really powerful, but yes, a little bit complex. But now I've used Tave for 2.5 years. I make my own automations and it's completely fine and easy, and I know what I'm doing. But yeah, that is my favorite part of Tave. Finally, I thought I'd show you a quick visual of my dashboard on Tave. So this is my home base where I check everything. Typically here there would be revenue and profits and things like that, and I'm not comfortable sharing that, so I haven't got that on there. But this is my upcoming agenda down here. So it says all my weddings and things I've got going on. These tabs are really helpful. So it tells me how many weddings I've got booked for each year, what invoices are due, leads. These numbers shouldn't be that high, but I don't use that function to check questionnaires or leads. I use email. Down the side, I've got everything I could possibly want to check. So I can check how many people came to my education floral retreat, how many weddings I've done each year, and then that's even broken down into how many weddings I have each month. And you can customize this however you like. So that is a runaround of the dashboard. And I just, if I want to, I just click on that and it brings up that client's information and portal. It's even got the weather, and I love this part. It's even got who's had mail sent to them, if they've opened it, clicked it, if it's been delivered and they haven't done anything with it. It's really great to check that stuff doesn't go into junk mail. So I hope that helps, and let me know if you have any questions about this. I hope that's given you a really clear idea of some of the functionalities of Tave and how it's changed my business and is amazing. It's a very robust system. It is very powerful, and I'm sure there's things in Tave that I don't even use to its full extent. So if you're interested in setting it up, you can DM me or message me or comment. As I recommend it, please get someone to help you with the setup, because it is complex, and I feel like if you don't set it up correctly the first time, it will give you problems the whole way through. So I highly recommend Annette at the CRM Doctor, but there's other people that specialize in it as well. And Annette has a wedding industry background. She's actually a celebrant. I was her first florist, and she has now worked with so many florists and has setting up florist Tave systems down to a fine art, because they are a bit more complex than someone like a celebrant or a photographer, due to our complex quoting and all the different questionnaires and things we need. So best of luck, and I hope this has helped.